I sat in the lawyer's office last Tuesday afternoon, staring at the divorce papers spread across the mahogany desk. 3 years of marriage condensed into legal documents. My wife Jessica thought she had the upper hand, planning to blindside me next month. But here is what she did not know. I had spent the last 6 weeks preparing in complete silence. No tears, no confrontation. Just cold, calculated preparation. Tonight she would finally understand what it means to underestimate someone who truly loved you. Sometimes the person sleeping next to you becomes a stranger long before you realize it. Before I tell you how I turned the tables on the 2 people who destroyed my world, I want to know, where are you watching this from? Drop your city in the comments. If you have ever felt betrayed by someone you trusted, hit that like button. And subscribe, because this story has a twist you will not see coming. Now let me take you back to where it all started, to the life I thought was perfect. I am Cliff, a software engineer living in Seattle. At 32 years old, I thought I had everything figured out. My wife Jessica was 29, a marketing manager at a tech startup downtown. We met 4 years ago at a tech conference in San Francisco. The chemistry was instant. We stayed up until 3 in the morning talking about everything from artificial intelligence to our favorite hiking trails. 6 months later, I proposed on a beach in Oregon during sunset. Our wedding was small and intimate in Napa Valley. The honeymoon in Santorini felt like a dream. We bought a townhouse in Ballard with a view of the Olympics on clear days. We adopted Max, a golden retriever, who became our practice child. Sunday mornings meant homemade pancakes and the New York Times crossword puzzle. Friday nights were sacred. Movie night with popcorn and wine. We talked about starting a family next year, maybe converting the spare bedroom into a nursery. I looked at Jessica and saw my future, my partner, my best friend. Life felt stable, predictable in the best way. I would leave for work at 7:30 each morning, kiss Jessica goodbye while she was still in her pajamas. She worked from home on Mondays and Wednesdays, went into the office the other days. We had dinner together. Most nights took Max for evening walks around Green Lake, fell asleep watching Netflix. It was ordinary and beautiful, and I never wanted it to change. But around 8 months ago in March, things started shifting. Small things at first. The kind of changes you tell yourself do not mean anything. Jessica started having more late meetings. Tuesday evenings, she would text me around 5, saying she had to stay until 9 for a client presentation. Thursday nights became client dinners that stretched until 11. Weekend team-building events suddenly appeared on her calendar. Her phone habits changed too. She used to leave it charging on the kitchen counter screen, up notifications visible. Now it was always face down, always within arm's reach. She took it to the bathroom, kept it on the nightstand on her side instead of the dresser. When I walked into a room, she would quickly switch screens or turn the phone over. Just reflex, nothing suspicious, I told myself. Jessica started going to the gym 5 times a week, instead of her usual 3. She bought new work clothes, sleeker, more fitted. She changed her hair, got highlights, and a new cut that made her look younger. She started wearing perfume on random Tuesday afternoons. I tried to be supportive. Her company was launching a major campaign. Stress made people do strange things. She was just taking better care of herself. That was good, right? But my gut kept whispering something was wrong. You know that feeling when your instincts scream at you, even though your brain tries to rationalize everything. I had that feeling every single day for weeks. I ignored it. I was being paranoid, insecure, untrusting. We were fine. We had to be fine. Then came the night 2 months ago that changed everything. It was a Sunday around 2 in the morning. I woke up thirsty, went downstairs for water. Jessica's phone was charging on the kitchen counter. Rare she must have forgotten it. The screen lit up with a text message. I was not trying to snoop. The notification was just there, bright in the dark kitchen. Missing you already. Cannot wait for next Thursday. The contact name was listed as Dan, work. The message came in at 1:53 in the morning. I stood there in my boxer shorts, glass of water halfway to my lips, trying to make sense of it. A work colleague texting at 2 a.m., missing you already. What did that mean? I did not sleep the rest of that night. I lay next to Jessica, watching her breathe peacefully while my mind raced through possibilities. Maybe Dan was a female colleague and I was reading too much into friendly banter. Maybe it was some inside joke about a work project. Maybe I was losing my mind over nothing. But I knew. Deep down, I already knew. The late meetings, the secret phone behavior, the way she had been distant for months. It all suddenly made horrible sense. My wife was having an affair, And I had been too trusting, too comfortable, too blind to see it happening right in front of me. The old me would have confronted Jessica immediately. Would have woken her up, demanded answers, probably yelled and cried and made a scene. But something stopped me that night. Maybe it was shock. Maybe it was self-preservation. Or maybe it was the engineer in me trained to gather data before drawing conclusions. I decided to find out the truth first. Really know what I was dealing with before I made any moves. So I started paying attention. I kept a private note on my phone documenting every inconsistency. Every time Jessica said she was working late, I noted the time she actually came home. Every weekend, team-building event got recorded. I cross-referenced her calendar with her actual whereabouts. I Googled Dan and the name of Jessica's company. LinkedIn gave me the answer in seconds. Daniel Porter, senior executive at their partner agency. 40 years old, divorced 3 years ago. His profile picture showed a guy with silver temples and an expensive suit. And there in his recent photos from a company event was Jessica standing right next to him. She was laughing in that photo, her head thrown back, eyes bright. I could not remember the last time she had laughed like that with me. The punch to my gut was physical. I sat in my home office staring at that photo for probably 20 minutes. This was real. This was actually happening. My wife was having an affair with Daniel Porter, and from the looks of that LinkedIn photo, it had been going on for a while. But I needed more than a text message and a LinkedIn photo. If I was going to confront this, I needed evidence that could not be dismissed or explained away. I needed proof. I called my college roommate Marcus on Monday morning. He had become a private investigator after leaving the police force. We met for coffee downtown and I told him everything. Marcus listened without judgment, took notes and agreed to help me discreetly. Then I did something I never thought I would do. I consulted a divorce lawyer. Her name was Sarah Brennan, and she specialized in complex divorce cases. I sat in her office on a Wednesday afternoon taking a long lunch from work and laid out the situation. Sarah was direct and practical. You need documentation, she said. Text messages, photos, financial records showing where money is going. The more evidence you have, the stronger your position. Washington is a no-fault divorce state, but infidelity and financial misconduct still matter when dividing assets. She asked about our finances. I told her about our joint checking account, our savings, the townhouse we bought together. Then Sarah asked a crucial question. Where did the down payment for the house come from? My grandmother left me some money when she passed, I said. We used that for the down payment. About $60,000. Sarah leaned forward. That could be considered separate property, if we can document it properly. Do you have records? I did. Bank statements, the inheritance, paperwork, everything. Sarah smiled for the first time. Good. Start gathering everything. Make copies of all important documents. Quietly open a bank account in just your name and redirect your paycheck there. Do not do anything dramatic. Just prepare. Over the next 2 weeks, I became someone I did not recognize. I systematically copied every important document we owned. The house deed, car titles, insurance policies, investment account statements. I opened a new checking account at a different bank and had my paycheck deposited there instead of our joint account. Jessica never noticed. She had stopped paying attention to me months ago. Marcus started surveillance the following week. The first report came on a Wednesday night. Jessica had told me she was working late on a presentation. Marcus followed her from her office to a wine bar in Capitol Hill. Daniel Porter met her there at 7:30. They sat in a corner booth holding hands across the table. At 9:15 they walked to the parking lot together. Marcus got photos of them kissing next to Daniel's Mercedes. I looked at those photos on my laptop while sitting in a coffee shop. My hands shook so badly I could barely scroll through them. There was my wife wearing the red dress I had bought her for her birthday last year, kissing another man like I did not exist, like our 3 years of marriage meant nothing. Friday brought worse news. Jessica told me she had a girls' night out with her coworkers. Marcus followed her to the Kimpton Hotel downtown. Daniel Porter arrived 10 minutes later. They checked in at 8:07 in the evening. Marcus waited. They did not come out until 1:14 in the morning. I vomited when I saw those photos. Actually got sick in the coffee shop bathroom. The timestamps were brutal. Hours. They had spent hours together in that hotel room while I was at home watching television with Max, believing my wife was out with friends. The pattern continued. Every Wednesday, every Friday, 2 nights a week minimum for who knows how long. Marcus compiled everything. Dates, times, locations, photographs. The evidence folder on my laptop grew thicker, but I needed more. I needed to know what they were saying to each other, what they were planning. So I did something I am not proud of. I accessed Jessica's iCloud account. We had set up our phones together when we got married, used the same password for everything. Our wedding date, October 10th, 2021. She had never changed it. Suddenly, I had access to every text message, every photo, every note on her phone. And what I found destroyed me. Hundreds of messages between Jessica and Daniel, conversations that went back 7 months, almost from the moment they met at some company mixer last fall. The messages were explicit, romantic, and worst of all, dismissive of me. Daniel, when are you leaving him, Jessica? Soon. I just need to figure out the financial situation. The house is in both our names. Daniel, my lawyer can help. You will get everything. He seems like the type who will not fight. Jessica, he is so clueless. Makes it almost too easy. I read that exchange sitting in my car in a grocery store parking lot. He is so clueless. Makes it almost too easy. She thought I was stupid. She was mocking me to her lover while I was at home, cooking dinner, walking our dog, planning our future. But the worst message came from just 2 weeks ago. I found it on a Sunday night while Jessica was in the shower. She had texted Daniel that afternoon. Jessica, I talked to that lawyer friend today. Apparently, if I file first and claim emotional neglect, I have a good shot at getting the house plus alimony. Daniel, smart girl. When are you pulling the trigger, Jessica? Next month. I want to make sure I have everything lined up. He has no idea what is coming. Daniel, cannot wait to have you all to myself. This sneaking around is getting old. Jessica, soon, baby. Soon he will be out and we will have everything. I sat there reading those messages over and over. They were not just having an affair. They were plotting to destroy me financially. Jessica was going to file for divorce, blindside me, claim I had been emotionally neglectful, and try to take everything I had worked for, the house my grandmother's money had bought, the savings I had built, everything. She thought I had no idea what was coming. But she was wrong. I knew exactly what was coming, because I had been preparing for this moment for 6 weeks. And I was 3 steps ahead of both of them. I met with Sarah Brennan again on a Tuesday morning. This time I brought everything. 6 weeks of surveillance photos, printed text messages, bank statements showing Jessica's secret credit card, financial records documenting every hotel stay, every dinner, every gift she had bought for Daniel. The evidence was overwhelming. Sarah spread it all across her conference table and let out a low whistle. This is one of the most thorough documentation packages I have seen in 20 years of practice. They do not stand a chance. We spent 3 hours building the case. The divorce petition would cite adultery and financial infidelity. Washington might be a no-fault state, but this evidence would matter when dividing assets. Jessica had spent over $12,000 on her affair using a credit card I had not known existed. That was marital funds used for non-marital purposes. Financial misconduct. The townhouse was the big prize. Sarah had researched the down payment trail thoroughly. The $60,000 from my grandmother could be traced directly to the purchase. That made it separate property under Washington law. Add in the fact that my salary had paid the majority of the mortgage for 3 years. We could document every payment, and Sarah was confident I could keep the house. What about alimony, I asked. She committed adultery and financial fraud. You have proof she was planning to make false claims of neglect. No judge will award her alimony after seeing this evidence. She might get half of some small joint assets, but not the house, not your retirement accounts, nothing substantial. I signed the divorce papers that afternoon. Sarah filed them electronically within the hour. Jessica had no idea she was about to be served. But Marcus had one more piece of information for me. He had been digging into Daniel Porter's background just to be thorough. What he found was almost funny in a dark way. Your wife's boyfriend is playing her, Marcus said, showing me photos on his tablet. These are from 3 weeks ago. Daniel and his ex-wife on vacation in Victoria, British Columbia. Hotel room, romantic dinners, the whole package. I stared at the photos. Daniel Porter kissing a blonde woman on a ferry. The same man Jessica thought she was building a future with. The same man who was encouraging her to divorce me and take everything. He is not divorced, Marcus explained. Well, legally he is. But they have been reconciling for months. Your wife is not his future. She is his midlife crisis. For the first time in weeks, I laughed. It was not a happy sound, but it was something. Jessica was destroying our marriage for a man who was using her. Daniel was never going to leave his ex-wife. Jessica was going to end up with nothing. No husband, no house, no Daniel. Nothing. I chose a Friday evening for the confrontation. Jessica came home at 6 earlier than she had been for months. She was getting ready for another fake girls' night. Actually, another hotel rendezvous with Daniel. I could hear her in the bedroom humming while she did her makeup. I walked in and closed the door behind me. "We need to talk. Cancel your plans tonight." Jessica barely looked at me, still focused on her reflection. "Cliff, I already told Lisa I would meet her. You are not going anywhere. Sit down." Something in my voice made her stop. She turned around, mascara wand still in her hand, and actually looked at me. Really looked at me. Maybe she saw something different in my face. The Cliff who believed her lies was gone. "What is wrong?" she asked, trying to sound concerned. I dropped a manila folder on the bed. "Thick with papers. I know about Daniel." The color drained from her face. The mascara wand fell from her hand onto the white comforter, leaving a black smudge. "What? What are you talking about?" I opened the folder calmly, pulled out the first photograph, placed it on the bed between us. "This is you and Daniel, at the wine bar on Capitol Hill. April 15th. 7:32 p.m. You told me you were working late. On a presentation." Jessica's mouth opened, but no sound came out. I placed another photo down. "This is you checking into the Kimpton Hotel on April 19th, 8:07 p.m. You told me you had girls' night. You and Daniel left the hotel at 1:14 a.m. Cliff, I can explain." "No." My voice was steady, calm, cold. "You cannot explain. I have 6 weeks of documentation. Every lie you told. Every Thursday you claimed was a work dinner. Every Saturday you said was team building. I know everything." I laid out more photos. The parking lot kiss. Them holding hands at a restaurant. Entering his apartment building. Everything Marcus had captured. Then I pulled out the printed text messages. These are my personal favorites. I read from the page. "He is so clueless. Makes it almost too easy. That was you talking about your husband to your lover." Jessica started crying. Mascara ran down her cheeks. "It was a mistake. Please, Cliff. It was just a mistake. I will end it. We can go to counseling. We can work through this." "A mistake?" I asked quietly. "A 7-month affair is not a mistake. Spending $12,000 of our money on hotels and gifts for him is not a mistake. Planning to divorce me, take everything I own, and lie about emotional neglect, that is not a mistake. That is calculated betrayal." Her eyes went wide. "How did you?" I dropped the printed iCloud messages on the bed. "Your password is our wedding date. You never changed it. Sloppy." Jessica picked up the messages with shaking hands. Read her own words, planning my destruction. Her face crumpled. "Cliff, please. I love you. I made a terrible mistake, but I love you. Stop." I pulled out the final envelope. Handed it to her. "You have been served. Divorce papers. I filed 3 days ago." She stared at the envelope like it was a snake. You filed, I told you. I know everything, including your plan to file first next month. Sorry to ruin your strategy, but I beat you to it." Jessica ripped open the envelope. Read through the petition with growing horror. "You are claiming I committed adultery, financial infidelity, $12,000 on a secret credit card for your affair. That is textbook financial infidelity. The house, you are claiming separate property interest in the house. The down payment came from my grandmother's inheritance. I have documentation going back years. You are not getting this house, Jessica." She looked up at me, tears streaming. "Where will I go? That is not my problem. You have 30 days to find a place. I will be staying with Marcus during the legal proceedings to avoid any drama. Cliff, please." She grabbed my arm. "Daniel and I, we are going to be together. We love each other. This will all work out." I pulled my arm away and grabbed the last set of photos from the folder, dropped them in her lap. "About Daniel. These are from last weekend, Victoria, British Columbia. That is Daniel with his ex-wife. Looks pretty cozy for someone who is supposedly done with his marriage." Jessica stared at the photos. Daniel and a blonde woman on a ferry. Kissing at a restaurant, walking hand in hand through Butchart Gardens. The timestamp showed the date, just 6 days ago, while Daniel was supposedly in Portland for business. Marcus did some digging, I continued. Daniel has been reconciling with his ex-wife for 3 months. You are not his future, Jessica. You are his midlife crisis. He is using you. I watched my wife's world shatter in real time. The man she had destroyed our marriage for, the man she had risked everything for, was playing her. She was losing me, losing the house, losing her financial security, and she was not even going to end up with Daniel. I am going to pack a bag, I said, heading for the closet. You have 30 days. My lawyer will be in touch about the settlement. Do not contact me except through Sarah. Cliff, wait. There is nothing left to say. You want it easy. You said I was clueless, that it made things easy. Well, congratulations. I am making this very easy for you. Easy to lose everything. I packed enough clothes for a week. Max followed me around the bedroom, sensing something was wrong. I knelt down and hugged him. Sorry, buddy. Things are going to be different for a while. Jessica sat on the bed, surrounded by evidence of her betrayal, crying. I felt nothing looking at her. No anger, no sadness. Just a cold emptiness where love used to be. I loaded my suitcase into my car. Max jumped in the passenger seat. I was taking him with me. As I backed out of the driveway, I saw Jessica standing in the window, phone pressed to her ear, probably calling Daniel. Good luck with that. The next few weeks unfolded exactly as Sarah predicted. Jessica hired a lawyer, but after reviewing the evidence, they advised her to accept the settlement. She tried to negotiate, claimed the affair meant nothing, begged for another chance. I refused every attempt at communication that did not go through lawyers. Jessica tried calling Daniel repeatedly. He blocked her number. Apparently, his reconciliation with his ex-wife was serious, and Jessica had become an inconvenient complication. She was collateral damage in his midlife crisis. The mediation took 1 day. Jessica's lawyer presented her case, but it was weak. My evidence was overwhelming. The judge praised the documentation and agreed that the house should be primarily mine, given the separate property interest and my mortgage contributions. Jessica would receive half of one small savings account and her car. No alimony, no retirement account split, nothing else. 3 months later, the divorce was final. The fastest dissolution Sarah had ever handled, she said. The evidence made it clean, no room for arguments or delays. Jessica moved into an apartment with 2 roommates. Her lifestyle downgraded significantly. I heard through mutual friends that word of the affair had spread through her professional network. Her reputation took a hit. Daniel Porter stopped returning her messages entirely. She sent me one final text before I blocked her number. I am sorry. I destroyed the best thing I ever had. I deleted it without responding. Sorry did not rebuild 3 years of trust. Sorry did not erase the planning and scheming. Sorry did not change the fact that she had looked at our marriage and decided it was expendable. The first few months after the divorce were strange. Even though I had won, kept the house, avoided financial ruin, got out before wasting more years, I still felt hollow. Not because I missed Jessica, I did not. But I missed the idea of what I thought we had. The future I had imagined was gone, replaced by uncertainty. I had trouble sleeping. Kept replaying moments from our marriage, looking for signs I had missed earlier. When had she stopped loving me? Had she ever really loved me? Dr. Helen Winters, my therapist, helped me work through those questions. Betrayal says everything about her character. Dr. Winters told me during one session, it says nothing about your worth as a partner or person. She made choices. You responded to those choices. That is all. I threw myself into rebuilding. The townhouse needed a refresh anyway. It had been decorated with Jessica's taste, not mine. I repainted the living room, bought new furniture, turned the spare bedroom into a home gym instead of a future nursery. Every change helped. I was making the space mine. Max adjusted well. Better than expected, actually. He gained 12 pounds from all the extra treats and attention I gave him. Therapy dog, I called him. He sat next to me through the rough nights, offered unconditional love when I needed it most. Work became a welcome distraction. I took on a major project redesigning our company's cloud infrastructure, put in long hours, solved complex problems, got promoted to senior engineer with a significant raise. My boss commented that I seemed more focused than ever. Divorce will do that, I almost said, but I just thanked him and kept working. I reconnected with college friends I had neglected during the marriage. Marcus and I started having weekly dinners. I joined a hiking group and spent weekends on trails around Washington. Discovered I loved climbing after joining a gym in Fremont. Jessica had never wanted to do any of those things. She had preferred wine bars and brunch. I had compromised my interests for hers without realizing it. 6 months after the divorce was final, I realized something profound. I felt lighter, freer. The marriage had been dying long before the affair. I just had not wanted to see it. We had stopped having real conversations months before I discovered the truth. Had stopped dreaming together, planning together. We had been going through motions, living parallel lives in the same house. The affair was a symptom, not the cause. But that did not excuse what Jessica did. She could have been honest, could have said she was unhappy, asked for counseling, ended things properly. Instead, she chose deception, cruelty, and financial betrayal. Those were her choices, and she had to live with the consequences. I heard updates occasionally through mutual friends. Jessica and Daniel never got back together. He fully reconciled with his ex-wife. Jessica was struggling financially, sharing a small apartment, dealing with damaged professional reputation. People knew about the affair. The tech community in Seattle was small. When I heard those updates, I felt nothing. Not satisfaction in her struggles. Not anger anymore. Just indifference. Healthy, healing indifference. She was no longer part of my story. I started dating again around month 8. Nothing serious, just coffee dates and dinners. Testing the waters, learning to trust again. I met Aria, a graphic designer at a coffee shop. When we both reached for the last blueberry scone, we laughed about it, shared the scone, exchanged numbers. We have been seeing each other for 2 months now. Taking it slow, no rush to get serious. But she makes me laugh, and I forgot how important that was. The townhouse is mine now, truly mine. My sanctuary. I sit on the back deck on Saturday mornings with coffee and a book while Max snoozes at my feet. The Olympic Mountains are visible when the weather is clear. Those moments feel peaceful in a way I never experienced during my marriage. People ask if I forgave Jessica. The answer is complicated. I released her. Let go of the anger and resentment because carrying it was hurting me more than her. But forgiveness implies reconciliation restored, relationship trust rebuilt. None of that is possible or desired. She exists in a separate universe now. I wish her no harm, but I also wish her no place in my life. What I learned through this whole nightmare was not really about betrayal. It was about self-respect, about trusting my instincts when something feels wrong, about acting instead of reacting, about not letting emotion override logic when important decisions need to be made. The old Cliff would have confronted Jessica immediately, let anger drive his choices, maybe made mistakes that would have cost him financially. The new Cliff prepared, gathered evidence, made strategic decisions, protected himself. Sometimes the best thing you can do when someone betrays you is stay calm and think clearly. I learned that you cannot control other people. Jessica made her choices. Daniel made his. All I could control was my response, and I chose to respond with intelligence instead of rage. That made all the difference. I learned that sometimes relationships end not with dramatic explosions, but with quiet realizations. The marriage was over long before I filed papers. The affair just made it obvious, and recognizing that truth, accepting it, was more valuable than any revenge could have been. My career is thriving. I got another promotion last month, now leading a team of 8 engineers. Max is happy and spoiled. Aria and I are planning a weekend trip to the San Juan Islands next month. She wants to kayak, I want to hike. We compromise. Imagine that. I am dating someone who actually wants to do things I enjoy. We have conversations that last hours. She laughs at my jokes. I make her breakfast, simple things, but they matter. This morning I sat on my deck watching the sunrise over Seattle. Max was beside me. Aria was still asleep in my bed, and I had a moment of profound gratitude. Not for the betrayal, not for the pain, but for the fact that I survived it, grew from it, became someone stronger and wiser. They say what does not kill you makes you stronger. I do not know about that. But I know this. What did not kill me made me wiser, made me more careful with my trust, made me value honesty and integrity above comfort and convenience. And that is worth more than any marriage built on lies could ever be. Sometimes people ask if I regret marrying Jessica. I do not. Those 3 years taught me what I need in a partner, taught me red flags to watch for, taught me that love without respect is worthless. Those were expensive lessons but valuable ones. Jessica texted me once more about 4 months ago. Different number. I had not blocked this one yet. She said she was seeing a therapist, working on herself, wanted to apologize properly. I read the message and deleted it. Some chapters stay closed. The best revenge is not what you do to someone who betrayed you, it is who you become without them. Jessica thought betraying me would upgrade her life. Instead, she downgraded everything. Lost her home, her financial security, her integrity, her affair partner, and whatever future we might have had. I upgraded everything. Better career, better mental health, better relationship, better life. All because I refused to let her choices destroy me. So if you are watching this and going through something similar, here is my advice. Trust your instincts. Document everything. Do not let emotion override intelligence. Get good legal counsel. Protect yourself first. And remember that the person who betrayed you is giving you information about their character, not your worth. You deserve better. Act like it. I am Cliff. I am 33 years old. I am a senior software engineer in Seattle. I have a great dog, a promising relationship, and a peaceful life. And the woman who tried to destroy me is a distant memory who taught me exactly what I will never tolerate again. That is my story. Thanks for listening. What would you have done in my situation? Would you have confronted immediately or prepared first? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more real-life stories about overcoming betrayal and building better lives. And remember, sometimes the best revenge is simply living well. Thanks for watching, and I hope whatever you are going through, you find your own path to peace.